So my motorized paddles blew up. I was on the water, anchored up, decided to move, fired up, and the motor sounded like kind of like a blender on high speed, and I wasn't going anywhere, and the prop wasn't spinning, so I knew there was problems. So I brought it home, took the lower end apart. That's the shaft there. All that looked okay. So I figured it had to be somewhere in the power head. And what it ended up being, and I'm 99% sure that's what it is that this is the a spline connector that connects the crankshaft, goes halfway into the splines on this side, and then this top spline here connects with the drive shaft in the lower end, and that drives the lower end. So what happens is that this is just kind of like a cheap cast metal there. So salt water corroded it, and then it doesn't have a really thick splines on these things. So just a little bit of a corrosion just weakened it to the point where it basically just stripped out. So while this was spinning, it had no teeth to actually turn the drive gear. And it basically just made the noises, made a bit like a whirring sound where it's just spinning but not connecting, and that was it. So I had to order this piece. Unfortunately, no one carries it on the East Coast, so they have to ship it from the factory to the distributors up here, and then they'll ship it out. So it won't be until Monday before it ships out to me. So probably in the middle of the next week I'll get it, which kind of sucks. This thing has been basically welded onto this shaft here, the crankshaft. So I tried heating it with a torch and putting like a oil solvents in there to try to loosen it up, and whacked it a little bit. But since it's actually hooked up to the crankshaft, I don't want to be pounding on it with a hammer. So I was hoping that this was not like stainless steel or anything, and it was actually turned out to be just cheap cast metal, so it cut very easily. So I'll use a die grinder where I've notched out just to test it out. I just can't tell for sure where they separate, so I'm going to wait till I get the new piece in. I'll just match it up to find out where it separates, and then I'll just cut it until I get a chunk out, expand it out, and pop it off, and then just need to reassemble everything. Fortunately, you have to take apart pretty much everything in order to get to the insides, so it's basically like rebuilding the motor. For a $14 part, it probably would have been a couple $100 in labor, so it wasn't worth it to fix this motor if I had to go that route. So that's why I'm kind of doing it the home repairs. But that's what it is. It is what it is. Luckily, I've got plans to do some offshore fishing tomorrow in a buddy's boat, and then my hands are kind of salvaged from the fly fishing days, so I'm going to be trying to do a little bit of fly fishing coming up. Then of course just normal fishing. I'll try to get out there and just catch some regular fish as well. But that's what's up. Talk to you later. Bye.